Hi Pisces, welcome to your end of September 2019 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. So, let's see what cards you get. You just had a full moon in your sign. At the end of the month, you will be having a new moon in your 8th house. Am I right about that? Yes, in Libra, 5 degrees of Libra. So the 8th house can be the house of rebirth, you know. It's the house of death. It can be the house of rebirth. So starting, you know, and so you just had your full moon, and you know that's kind of like an ending, and now you're kind of rising like a phoenix from the ashes, as they say. Very kind of a Taurian or earthy vibe to it in some ways. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Two of Wands. This is choosing between two things. I just got this card for the last reading I did in a different position, but still. And as I pointed out in the past, somebody has mentioned that somebody else is holding one of the staffs or rods or wands. And the person is holding the world in their hand, which can indicate travel, perhaps based for business, travel because of business, career matters. And so if you're faced with a dilemma of perhaps accepting a job that is far away, and yet there's a part of you that is kind of like, well, I don't know if I really want to do this. I don't know what to do about this. It could be a situation where you are trying to decide, you know, what it is that you want to do. However, you are, you know, you're holding the globe, so you might be kind of inclined to actually go, because the wands relate to fire energy, which is expansive. And so if I had to bet, you know, whether you would stay in your comfort zone or do something perhaps new, a little bit scary, but that broadens your perspective, I would choose the latter. But you may be taking somebody else's needs into consideration, and maybe that's why the hand is on the other staff. That you have a child, you don't want to uproot the child, you have a relationship and you're going to have to be separated from this person. Who knows? Could be anything like that. Maybe you're choosing between two people. And in the past position, we have the card that is connected to Taurus, which is the Hierophant. And this is also a card that is about hierarchy. So this could be like a corporate situation as well as tradition and structure. That's why I said a hierarchy. It could be like a government job, structure, and tradition. So marriage is connected to the Hierophant, and yet you may feel a pull away from that. That may not be enough for you anymore, Pisces. You may be saying to yourself, you know, I can't do this anymore because I'm being asked to be someone that I'm not. Now, as I have pointed out in previous tarot readings in the recent months, astrologically, Jupiter has been transiting your 10th house of career. So you may have been receiving different offers throughout the last year, and or almost year, and you know, since this would be since about November of 2018. And you might have been receiving offers or other types of, whatchamacallits, you know, even within your own, if you're not being solicited from an outer entity, getting promotions and within your company, expansion, you know, which is a big theme of Jupiter. And that in and of itself can affect your love life, where part of the expansion could be, we want you to head up our office in Timbuktu or something like that. And with the Hierophant, you could be thinking about your marriage. You could be thinking about whether or not it's appropriate for you to do this, whether you're going to threaten the nature of the relationship, if it's going to change, if it's going to be lost, something like that. And you fear that because you love this person. Or the other party is saying, you shouldn't do this, that's not right. That's not what a good spouse would do, and they're trying to guilt you. And so you have to decide. Let's look at the higher message to get a better understanding of how to proceed. The Three of Pentacles. This is a card of, this is the Architect's card. Sometimes it can point to great teamwork within the, you know, the office or the company. Sometimes in relationships, it can indicate the need for a sound foundation, that you can't build a relationship on sand. You can't just, you know, get with somebody and expect the relationship to thrive, that you have to put in the time. So if it's funny, I didn't think about this. This could be somebody's asked you to marry them and you're deciding whether or not you should. That would be the criterion, is, do I feel that we really know each other? And that's part of that foundation, is having a good, solid knowledge of the person you're with. Now, I want to say something, because there are people that marry in haste. And they barely know each other and they decide to get married, and they're married for many years and they're married forever, you know, until one of them passes away, which is kind of sad to think about. And so sometimes it works out. I don't want to ever give the impression that you are going to have a great relationship if you have a long courtship, or a terrible one if you have a short one. But in general, getting to know somebody makes a lot of sense, because at the very least you can say, what is the rush, right? Why do I need to do this? What am I, and this isn't just you, this is the other person. Who may be doing this to you. The other person may be pressuring you to, like, let's just get married. What are we waiting for? Why do we need to, we're not in our 20s anymore. We're not kids anymore. We should just get married. And you could end up with a narcissist. You can end up with somebody who's trying to kind of, fool you into to just doing that hastily. So, I can think of all kinds of scenarios here, but I wanted to bring out that particular example. But if this is like, if you're building a career, the Three of Pentacles is about investing in something, and sometimes that means investing time, and also getting to know the whole the whole company. Like if you work for an international company and you have this opportunity and you really don't have any kind of ties, or if you are involved with somebody and that this is just going to be like a temporary separation or something like that, you might want to consider it, because this builds your camaraderie with your coworkers if they're going to go there too. And then, you know, let's say your other coworkers are going to go to this foreign country and you are like hesitant. You know, when they come back, you're going to probably feel like you're in like you're left out in the cold because you haven't had those experiences. So that really solidifies your relationships. What crosses you, if I can bring this out here, is represented by the Four of Pentacles. This is a card of financial stability, and this can be a card of somebody who, this is, if I'm reading this as the reversed position, and this could be like unsound money management. And perhaps, and sometimes it can be, you know, being overly cautious about money, or even greedy about money. But with Pisces, I think it's like not being practical. Maybe you have a tendency to be too free spending on things that you don't need to be, and that has created this current, you know, maybe that has created something within you where you feel like you can't make decisions just purely based on your own bliss factor, if you will. Because I see with the wands kind of like that sense of joy. And yes, you can have a job that brings you joy. You don't have to suffer. But you may feel like you always have to, you know, include money in the decision making because you don't have a good handle on it. So that would suggest that you need to be more mindful of the way that you interact with money, and maybe, and also suggesting the Three of Pentacles. This can be like a good money card, but perhaps it'll be hard for you to take advantage of that if you continue on with the way that you spend money. Now, this could even involve spending it on another person. There's nothing wrong with being generous, but you don't want to throw your pearls after swine, you know, and you might be dealing with some real, I don't want to say pigs, some real swine out there. And so the Three of Pentacles in the spiritual position might be saying, wow, this is an opportunity for you to build your wealth, you know, brick by brick, gold brick by gold brick. But you have to kind of look at your habits. What is coming in is represented by the Nine of Wands. Also, this can be advice. For advice, set boundaries. If you are in a relationship and somebody's trying to guilt you and try to treat you like you're abandoning them if you accept a job that will take you away from the area where you are right now, be very straightforward and say, you know, I'm open to discussing this, but I'm not open to emotional manipulation through guilting me, because it's not fair. I'm not trying to do anything to hurt you. I'm trying to take advantage of opportunities that have come my way. And really, you know, just state your feelings in a very calm way. And, you know, and not to manipulate them in return, but really just to be the mature one and let them know where you stand. That's a very important thing in setting boundaries. It's letting people know where you stand on issues. A sign like Pisces sometimes can be rather evasive, can be unwilling to really express their true feelings on things for fear of backlash. And you don't have that luxury. You have to, and I don't really think that's a luxury. I think that we have to do that if we want mature relationships and open, authentic relationships. We have to be willing to state what our feelings are in a respectful way, obviously, because it's not fair to another person for you to hide your feelings and then act like, you know, the other person's being a terrible, cruel person because they didn't expect you to do this or that when you never really opened up to them about what your intentions were and your ambitions. So we have to give other people the benefit of the doubt too. And the outcome is the Justice card. So it's about fairness. You know, see the scales. It's a sign of Libra. We do have that Libra new moon. Again, maybe that's a timing card of when the winds of change really kick in. That will be in your 8th house. And it could be like a rebirth. You feeling like you are in just like a new phase of your life. And it can also be a sense of like feeling as if your life is stable, that it's not like kind of like imbalanced, like you're balancing your love and your love life and your career life, and you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. So it can be good for that if you're dealing with any kind of conflict with somebody else who thinks that it's not a good idea for you to go and take advantage of some other opportunity. So that could like stabilize that situation. Yeah, I just think that there's a lot to be said here. I think even with the 4 of Pentacles, that's just your attitude, but it looks like with the 3 of Pentacles that it's a good money time for you. So hopefully that is true, Pisces. And I hope that you received a positive message from this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. My website is rainamoonastrology.com, and if you sign up for my newsletter, there's just a little place to put your email on my homepage. You can receive 19% off your first reading. Have a great rest of the month. Take care. Bye.